Chapter 59. The Civil Trial, 1. John chapter 18, verses 28 to 40. Then led they Jesus from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment, and it was early, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them, and said, What accusation bring ye against this man? They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him, and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death. That the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Jesus, and said unto him, Art thou the King of the Jews? Jesus answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Jesus answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Jesus answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Every one that is of the truth heareth my voice. Pilate saith unto him, What is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews, and saith unto them, I find in him no fault at all. But ye have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will ye therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? Then cried they all again, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber. John chapter 18, verses 28 to 40. Night trials were illegal in Jewish law because all proceedings of a court had to be open and public. The illegal trial before Annas was during the night. Mark chapter 15 verse 1 tells us that the trial before the high priest Caiaphas was early in the morning, since 6 a.m. would have qualified as daytime. This trial was brief, and John tells us that at an early hour Jesus was led to the Roman Hall of Justice, which was also the legal place of residence for the Roman governor. The praetorium commonly opened early, so the presence of the religious leaders would be no surprise. The early hour would prevent public awareness of what was happening until it was too late. We are told by John that the religious leaders refused to enter lest they be defiled, and thereby unable to take part in the Passover meal. Verse 28. Gentile houses were regarded as unclean because it was believed that they routinely practiced abortions and threw the dead children down the drain. This meant a week's uncleanness for any Jew who entered. Also, the praetorium would not have been cleansed of leaven. Exodus chapter 12, verse 15. Pilate was familiar with Jewish law. Roman governors could not afford to violate local customs without cause, so Pilate went out to them. Pilate is not introduced to us. John wrote while Jerusalem was still standing, so that the city and its rulers were familiar to all who chose to know. Proper procedure required that Pilate ask, What are the charges? Verse 29. Again, the religious leaders had a problem. What charges could they file? They chose to replace the truth with indignation. If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee. Verse 30. With this, Pilate, who no doubt already knew much about the case, knew that he was in trouble. These men wanted an execution, not a fair trial. While they later accused Jesus of blasphemy, chapter 19, verse 7, this was not an offense against Roman law. It was a Jewish form of offense. Later on, Jesus was charged with 1. Seditious agitation, 2. Forbidding the payment of taxes to Caesar, and 3. Assuming the title, King of the Jews. Luke chapter 23, verse 3. For the present, the charge of blasphemy was irrelevant, so Pilate tried to dismiss them, saying, Take ye him and judge him according to your law. To this they answered, "It is not lawful for us to put any man to death." Verse 31. John reminds us again that things are moving in terms of Jesus' prediction. Verse 32. At this point, Pilate re-entered the judgment hall and had Jesus brought in order to question him in private. During this episode, Matthew chapter 27 verse 19 tells us Pilate's wife sent word to Pilate, saying, "Have thou nothing to do with that just man, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him." Political considerations were more important to Pilate, however, than either justice or his wife. Pilate now asked Jesus, since the charge had been made that he claimed to be a king, "Art thou the king of the Jews?" Verse 33. This accusation was necessary if Jesus were to be convicted in a Roman court. It was also an indirect admission that this was the Messiah. In the Jewish court, such a charge depended on the religious nature of the evidence. In a Roman court, the charge was political because it controverted Caesar's claim to sovereignty. Jesus answered, "Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it of me?" Verse 34. A Roman governor would have spies reporting to him on all aspects of the life of a restless and rebellious nation. Pilate would be well informed of Jesus' life and teaching, but Pilate refused to admit what he knew. He was supposed to be in charge, and Jesus had taken the initiative. So Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done?" Verse 35. Pilate was saying, "You must have done something to be so charged by your own people." In effect, Pilate asked, "How can you be right, and all your nation and its leaders be wrong?" Numbers counted with Rome and Pilate, not truth. Jesus answered Pilate clearly and directly, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence." Verse 36. This is a statement commonly misinterpreted. Our Lord does not deny that his kingdom is over the world, only that its origin and authority are from this world. The origin is God. My way of waging war is not physical or military, because its power is not of this world. Had it been so, my men would have fought to prevent my arrest. Pilate recognized that Jesus was declaring himself as king, and Pilate needed, however reluctant he was, a usable charge. He therefore asked, "Art thou a king then?" Jesus answered, "Thou sayest that I am a king, or you're right. I was born to my kingship when I came into this world. I was born to bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice." Verse 37. I am here because there is truth, despite men's rejection of it. As James chapter 1 verse 18 declared, Christ's is the word of truth. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 2 speaks of the ways of truth, and Paul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 12 speaks of the necessity for the truth, and so on and on. In the world of Roman relativism and cynicism, reference to truth struck Pilate as irrelevant. Here was a man facing death who spoke of truth, and so Pilate in irritation said, "What is truth?" He was annoyed that Jesus had no better defense. Having said that, Pilate went out to tell the religious leaders, "I find in him no fault at all." Verse 38. Then Pilate called attention to the custom of releasing a prisoner at the Passover. Should he release Jesus, the King of the Jews? Verse 39. According to Matthew chapter 27, verse 17, Pilate gave them a choice, Jesus or Barabbas, a robber. Verse 40. The crowd shouted, "Not this man, but Barabbas." Verse 40. Luke chapter 23, verse 19 tells us that Barabbas was also guilty of sedition and murder. Mark chapter 15, verse 7 tells us that the murder was committed in the insurrection. The religious leaders acted horror-stricken at Jesus' supposed sedition, and yet they chose a murderous revolutionary over Jesus. Clearly, this showed Pilate that it was not anti-Roman sedition on Jesus' part that offended them. It was something else. His religious status and his insistence on the truth and his relationship to it. Fallen men hate the truth, most of all truth incarnate.